So there's that. In seventh grade, I met my teacher, Miss Wetzel, and this is when I started getting into plants. 12, 13. First, my grandmother started teaching me about potting plants, and then Miss Wetzel started teaching about how to sow plants, and she really pushed forward my thirst for knowledge for plants and how to garden, and I really thank her for that. Thank you, Miss Wetzel, for teaching me and being such a good teacher. And I was trying to put on this Gardevoir costume, but it wouldn't let me. Like, it's not letting me. Maybe I have to buy it. I think I have to buy it. I just spent all this fucking money on the Gardevoir when I really wanted the Garchomp, and then I was reading about Garchomp is a really bad Pokemon in this game because it's really hard for it to level up, and then by the time you get to the Garchomp, the game is practically already over. But whatever. And also, I'm noticing that Gardevoir is really hard to play as well, so I'm just like, all these Pokemon are really... I don't know. Anyways. She facilitated that, and so did my grandmother. So when I started planting in the front yard, really intensely. Yeah, 7th and 8th grade when I was really starting getting into plants and music, like heavily. Started singing. I was really against singing. Like, I really hated. I don't know. I was like really against singing and like being vocally open. Like, I don't know. Like, vocals would give me goosebumps that I was uncomfortable like being impressed by people, like having goosebumps and admitting people that were like admitting to the fact that people were good at singing. And I was really having a hard time like enjoying music. And I was always able to recognize when something sounded good. I started playing violin at 13. I started to realize that I wanted to sing around the same time. And my sister told me that I sounded decent. Started running away, and people started to drift away from me because I wasn't really at school anymore. And then go on to 8th grade when I started running away. This just like so much happened in 8th grade that was like really set up for me to like look like a bad person, and for no one want to fuck with me in high school. And it's just really like that really cemented like my thought, and like I really do not want to be in Eatontown, New Jersey, with these kids that don't like me, and with my parents that hate me. Like, I really felt unwanted in Eatontown. Like, I really felt unwanted by everybody. I hated myself. I wanted to kill myself. And that was like the original plan then. But girl, I always got caught. And the one time I didn't get caught, I went all the way to New York City, but that was later. I had developed a lot of self-hate. How am I supposed to fucking compete when there's no fucking Pokemon for me to beat up? Um, 8th grade, so first episode with like voyeurism, and I'm gonna say this in heavy quotations because at the time of 8th grade, I wasn't heavily articulated as I am now, and wasn't heavily articulated, wasn't really into like defending myself from other people. Was very cowardice, was very try to run away from it all. Because I was really trying to get my best to get away from my parents and just get away from school. Because like coming back to school after running away and having all the teachers know, and all the teachers like practically like shame you, And it just felt like the teachers were shaming me, and I was also struggling with like math. And I've never really like struggled with it. And at that time, math was like, when I went to the tutoring, math became really easy. It's just like I didn't want to do it, is the thing. And yeah, and I just remember this teacher, like Miss Greensburg, just like felt like she was shaming me. And just like, you don't know what's happening. I'm just like, I don't know what picture my parents are painting for you, but it's like not in the reality that like you think it is. And I don't know, like I just felt like the villain at that point. I just felt like the whole world hated me. And I had already at that point, I had no longer loved myself at that point. And I had no self-confidence in myself, so I just kept trying to run. I don't know what happened first. There's 2 bathroom incidents, and I don't know what happened first. Uh, I know by the middle of the school year, I had to try to run away twice. And I was going to do it a 3rd time. And I was going to jump out the bathroom window on the side closest to the English teacher, closest to the principal's office. And there was someone in the bathroom stall, and I was trying to figure out who it was and try to like figure out, I don't know, just like fooling around. Like I wasn't really into like, it wasn't like a sexual thing. Like I didn't come off to me like as this like sexual thing. And I don't know, I just was like not like interested. I don't know. And for this person, maybe I should have like talked to him. Maybe because I didn't know him. Yeah, I didn't know him at all. And I was like sort of like indifferent about him because I didn't know him. Like he would always be like, people liked him. He was a nice guy, getting everything. And yeah, I was just, I guess it just came across that I was like trying to like perv on him, when I was really just plotting my next spring escape. And he called me into the middle of class, from history class, into the guidance counselor's office. And spoke to the principal and the guidance counselor. And she was just so like, even if I wanted to explain myself and tell her the truth, it was just like that, the answer that I was gonna get, like the real answer wasn't gonna be acceptable either. And she just, I guess maybe because I was problematic and to begin with as a student, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the point in telling her the truth. I still don't. Because, like, neither answer would have been... Because she would have told my parents that I was going to run away, and it's just like, why would you put me in that position? And so she told my parents about that, and my parents withheld that from me for a long time because they never confronted me about that. And then I'm not calling anybody weird when I tell this story. Should I tell this story? Tell a story. I don't know. I feel like if I have to question, I shouldn't tell it. I'm trying to think of ways. Because I don't want to embarrass this person further. But I really don't think this video is going to get far, but I really can't account for what happens after I'm gone. Basically, I'm walking in the bathroom and someone is underneath the bathroom stall, and there's 3 stalls. And I'm getting up from English class to get away from this bitch yapping on about nothing. And this boy is masturbating mad hard underneath the stall, and it's like so blatant. He's laid across all 3 stalls, like the length of his body. And I walked in and I walked out, like immediately, because I was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So I walked in and out. And they already started talking about it in class. Like the other 2 people that went before me are like looking at each other and telling like other people. And then my friend Ruth, oh no, asked me, and I told her. That what happened. And then Ruth tells the loudest mouth bitch in the school, and I do not know why this girl's popular. She was just so unpleasant and just so like, I do not know why she was popular. I'm not gonna say her name. I just died, and I'm not helping them at all. I'm like holding back the whole team. And then I get called into the fucking office again, and they try to blame me for like the whole school knowing, because Ruth had told the most popular girl in school that about him jerking off. And then there was like a whole thing where his mom was crying, his sister was crying, and I'm just like, they're blaming me for this. And then my parents get more mad at me, and then I run away after that. And I was just, at that time, I was like, I don't know why I didn't tell them the chronological order of events. I just remember sitting there having nothing to say. I remember just sitting there and just taking all the responsibility for it. I don't know why I didn't articulate this then. Yeah, I've had to get that off my chest for a very long time. That was completely not my fault. Like, it was my fault for like, I don't know. I told one person. And regardless, why was he doing that? It's like that. Like, why? Anyways. And I was being mean to this other kid named Javier Cas. Sorry, Javi. Really pleasant kid. Nice guy. I was being mean to him, and then I guess it was like repressed homophobia. I was taking out the things I didn't like about myself onto him. He was going through so much. I could have been so much nicer. And I'm really sorry for that. I should have been a friend and not have bashed you more. So that whole fiasco happened, and then it just looked like I was the skis. And then they banned me from the trip to Washington, and my parents had to fight for that. And I was, at this point, I didn't really want to like go anymore. But I went, and it was like a decent time. My parents still being weirdos and spying on me still through the phone, but other than that, I forgot how this goes, but I kept running away throughout the years of 13 to 14 on to freshman year. And freshman year was like literally one of the worst years of my life. My parents practically hated me. My sister was like my sister and my brother were like my saving grace. I just like felt like the only two people in the world that like liked me. And my aunt Jaleesa too. It was just like she couldn't really help me in like the ways it was necessary. And that's when they started putting me in the hospital for running away. Because they had found a journal that had like all this suicide stuff in it. I was like 14. And they found a box cutter. I was in the hospital so like 2 or 3 times, something like 2 times in like 4 months. And I was in the hospital, missing school. And then I missed school. And then the schoolwork got backed up, and then like I was doing really well in Latin. Like I really like loved Latin. I loved Latin class. I loved my Latin teacher. At that point in time, I was losing confidence in being a trumpet player. At that point in time, they stopped my violin lessons as like a form of punishment. I couldn't really go outside at that point in time because I kept running away and they didn't trust me to be outside at all at that point. And not being trusted to go outside at all, and being around the people and they mistreat you 24/7. It was just too much. I'm not gonna go into how and detail they abused me, but it was just lots of verbal, emotional, and then like when they were really frustrated, physical. This bitch likes to eat stuff off the floor. I'm getting tired of telling the story, I'm not gonna lie. I might take a break. Stop it. From the last hospitalization, I was being separated from my mom and my dad for the second time because they hospitalized me again. And they were basically asking the hospital, like, the hospital staff would tell me that, like, they wanted, like, me not to be gay. Like, there was, like, medications for it, like, therapy for it. And, that was just her belief at the time, and his belief. And my dad likes to say that, like, he wasn't on the bandwagon, but he was, like, just as bad as she was. She's gonna have to go in a second. Yeah, you. Have a seat. And second hospitalization, I was in there for 3 months, and I met this girl named, I'm not gonna name names. Met a friend. We were friends until a long time, until recently, because I was manipulating her for, so I was being manipulated by other people, using her for money. And she just stopped being my friend because, yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. But she was a really pleasant person, and I wish her the best. She's been going through a lot throughout her whole life. and she deserves eternal happiness along with her children. Met this friend. We were in there for a very long time. Oh! Get out! Get out! Stupid bitch. Was friends with this person in the hospital. We were around the same age. Our birthdays were really similar. When we bonded, trauma bonded basically. And we grew apart recently, like I said, because of just predatory manipulation that was a derivative of my main predators, and I was like basically preying on her for them. And I'm glad she just stopped being my friend, because it's just like, I don't know how long that was gonna go on for, but it's just basically catfishing in her image. And it's just like, because I sold her image to other people, now I no longer have control over who's using her image to catfish for people. And I sincerely apologize for that to anyone who's been catfished by me. I'm like, it's my cat's trying to get in the room. 2017, and then again in 2020. 2017. Yeah, 2017. Heavy catfishing. And then some spots in 2020. But we're past that now. And I've ruined a friendship. I've ruined a lot of friendships. And I don't know if I can necessarily say ruined, but like, she's just maturing. She outgrew me. I just really wish I could like apologize in a way where it meant something to her, because we've been friends for so long after the hospital, and it was just friends since 2014. That's 6 years. That's like a long time, and then you lose a friend, you know? And I'm sorry. You know who you are. I'm not gonna say your name, because a whole confidentiality thing, and that's just like the right thing to do. It's like your struggles should always remain private until you are ready to reveal them on your own. And that's why I'm not saying your name. But I am sorry, and you just deserve the best in life after all that you've been through. And I think you're right to stop talking to me, because I can't really facilitate that right now. Your best growth by letting others use your image to hurt other people, or to take from other people for their own sexual needs. It's just such a repeating theme. Sexual needs. Wow, now we're getting into it. The last time I ran away from my parents, put me in the hospital, and I met this girl, and then from the hospital there was an agreement. They suddenly asked me if I could live. I was gonna be put in this place called Oceans Harbor House, which is like an emergency shelter type home, or to go to Oklahoma. And my mom put it into this is my mom's words verbatim. And this is like, things like this you say to a child And this is why I'm not gonna go into like, I remember vividly the things that she used to tell and do to me, and same thing for my father. They were not good people at the time. They were very bad people at the time, like horrible to me. And sometimes uh, that watered down into my sister, but I was their main target. Telling me in this group home that these boys are gonna rape me and that they're all criminals and stuff like that. And I'm just, and and it didn't really, I genuinely didn't believe her. Like, I still did. I'd rather have taken my chances there than have been at home with my parents still, even after her telling me that people would rape me in the group home. And it wasn't even like a group home. They was like heavily surveillance. They were like engaging with you constantly. They were doing their best to make sure that everyone was okay. So I don't know why she like tried to put that in my head at the time. And they're like, at this point, they're 29, 28. And their relationship is falling apart. So go to Oklahoma. I don't know with what money. But I had this phone with me in Oklahoma, and I don't know. I don't know. I think I stole it from someone, the money, or something. But I had this phone. Started talking to people. And this is my first encounter with like a heavy predator. Because when I was in Oklahoma, I had literally just turned 15. This is the middle of my freshman year. Was it? Yeah. And I don't know how I ended up talking to him. I really don't know. I really don't remember. But leave it to be, I know he was from Florida, because I know he told me that. And he knew I was in Oklahoma. And I was getting settled in the apartment with my grandmother. Not an apartment, this like small townhouse, 2-bedroom townhouse. Small, very cute country house. And he called me one day. And it was like the scariest phone call I've ever had in my entire life. Like, I've been on the phone with the police. And I've been on the phone with probation officers. I've been on the phone with my manager. And to this day, like, nothing has scared me more than that phone call. Because I remember picking it up knowing that it was him calling me. And nothing could have prepared me for the sound and the tone of this man's voice. Exchange of like 2 sentences, and like I had to hang up the phone. It was just too much. It just sounded too. It was like such a sinister voice, like dark and heavy in tone. And heavy in intent. It was such a low voice too. It wasn't like my voice. It was very, 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 very low. Much lower than my voice could ever be. And I hung up the phone. Didn't tell my grandmother, because she would have taken the phone away regardless. And this is the relationship that was bred with me in the phones with my family at this point. Didn't want me to talk to people my age, so I started talking to men much older than me somehow.